Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are looking at the absolute secret to your first $100,000, what we're calling the unapologetic path to wealth. Over the next 5 minutes or so, we're going to break down veteran investor Charlie Munger's mathematically proven and honestly pretty harsh principles to permanently escape the rat race. To anchor our analysis, we're pulling insights from this incredibly blunt breakdown on wealth mindsets. A lot of people are just tired. They're tired of working incredibly hard month after month and still feeling completely broke. Well, the source material here sets a real no-nonsense tone. It strips away all the fake glamour of finance. There's zero talk of private jets or, overnight crypto fortunes here. Instead, we're looking at the brutal reality of what financial weakness actually looks like and the extreme behavioral shifts you absolutely have to make to permanently escape it. And that brings us to this incredibly famous quote from Munger. The first $100,000 is a bitch. I know, it's not the most elegant phrasing, but man, is it the absolute truth. Everyone loves to dream about making millions, right? But until you actually hit that first 100 grand, you're not even really in the game. And why is it so utterly miserable? Well, because when you start from absolute zero, nothing compounds into nothing. Munger compares it to trying to push this massive heavy boulder from a dead stop. When you're young, saving $1,000 feels like this monumental, backbreaking effort, and then it earns maybe $20 in interest over a whole year. It feels literally pointless. But that feeling of pointlessness, that is exactly why most people just give up and buy some shiny new toy today instead of planting a seed for tomorrow. So how in the world you get past that impossible beginning? Well, it all starts right here. Are you an employee or an owner? Munger realized really early in his career as a young lawyer that billing hours was a complete trap. He figured out that if he just kept collecting fees, sure, he'd be comfortable, but he would never be truly wealthy. He was literally just trading his time for money until he dropped dead. And that, right there, is the employee mindset. It's the disease of careerism. You know what I mean? Climbing corporate ladders, constantly polishing your resume, and just living for the applause and approval of your boss. It feels safe, doesn't it? Because that paycheck shows up every 2 weeks, but the math behind it is brutal. Inflation just eats away at your wages, and corporate bureaucracy totally caps your upside. Now contrast that with the owner mindset. Owners actually sacrifice the comfort of that steady, guaranteed paycheck to build equity. They don't want a salary, they want assets that do the working for them while they are sound asleep. Careerists get applause, but owners get compounding. And like Munger points out, in the long run, equity beats applause every single time. All right, so once you've actually adopted the mindset of an owner, you have to do the really hard work. Step 2, actually saving that first 100,000. Munger uses this incredibly visceral metaphor for hitting this specific milestone. He says it's literally like digging through wet cement with a spoon. It's miserable, it's slow, and it is completely backbreaking. But here is where the absolute magic happens. After you cross that $100,000 mark, the texture totally changes. Suddenly, it goes from wet cement to slicing through butter with a hot knife. Why? Because think about it. A 10% return on $100,000 is $10,000. All of a sudden, those returns are visible, they're tangible. The compounding engine finally starts working for you instead of just feeling like some cruel joke. But listen, nobody can help you if you don't actually save. If you spend every single penny you earn, there is no investment genius on earth who can rescue you. To get through that wet cement phase, you need some incredibly strict rules. Here are the 3 absolute non-negotiable steps we gathered from the source material. Number 1, live below your means. Spend less than you earn every single year, without exception. Money in, less money out. That little gap right there is where compounding lives. Number 2, avoid debt like the plague. Look, Munger grew up in the Great Depression. He saw debt literally destroy families. If you need debt to make your plan work, well, your plan sucks. And number 3, cut out drama and dumb people. This one is so wildly underrated, but who you spend your time with basically determines 90% of your outcomes. Dodging toxic people, bad marriages, and foolish lawsuits, that is often way more important to your success than finding some genius stock pick. But watch out, because there's a massive psychological trap that will instantly ruin all 3 of those steps if you aren't careful. Envy is the only sin where you don't even get to enjoy the sin. Think about that. Munger points out that, gluttony at least gives you a great meal. Lust gives you a moment of pleasure. But envy just makes you absolutely miserable that someone else has more. It is literally free poison. If you're constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses, your savings rate is going to plummet straight to zero. The source actually tells this crazy story of a brilliant lawyer Munger knew who just couldn't stand seeing other people get rich faster than him. He started chasing these ultra-risky hot deals just to beat the guy next to him, and he completely lost his shirt. Envy makes you fragile. It makes you spend money you do not have just to impress people who honestly aren't even paying attention to you. Now, if you can actually manage to kill that envy, live below your means, and accumulate that initial capital, you arrive at our final step, the investor's discipline. Keeping and growing your money takes an entirely different psychological framework. Munger basically argued that you really don't need to be brilliant to be a great investor. You literally just need to be slightly less stupid than the average person for a very long period of time. And that brings us to the true definition of compounding. It's not just some fancy mathematical formula on an Excel spreadsheet. In reality, compounding is the ultimate financial reward for extreme stubbornness and survival. Most people, they think wealth comes from sheer brilliance, right? Like predicting the future or perfectly timing the hottest new tech trend. It doesn't. Compounding doesn't reward the cleverest people in the room. It rewards the most stubborn ones, the ones who simply refuse to interrupt the machine, the ones who can literally endure years of sitting, waiting, and just feeling totally bored while everyone else is out there hyperactively trading. And this is exactly why Munger stressed that the big money is not in the buying or the selling, it's in the waiting. He actually confessed that one of his most ridiculously expensive mistakes, and we're talking a mistake that cost him tens of millions of dollars, was selling a truly great business way too early just because the stock had doubled and he wanted to look smart by locking in a quick profit. Well, that company went on to multiply 10, maybe 20-fold. Activity is the enemy here. Stillness is your best friend. Selling a great business too early is basically like selling a winning horse halfway through the race. Stillness and the ability to just wait are an investor's true superpowers. Now, to actually maintain that kind of stillness, you need humility. You have to harness the absolute power of simply saying, I don't know. The world is packed full of people who are completely certain about things they know literally nothing about. Psychologists actually call that the Dunning-Kruger effect. Munger and his partner Warren Buffett, they survived by building a strict circle of competence and flat out refusing to step outside of it. If they looked at a deal and didn't understand the economics, they just passed. It's that simple. Admitting your ignorance quickly is what actually protects your wealth. If you can't say, I don't know, at least 10 times a day, you are probably deluding yourself. And let me tell you, the market absolutely loves to slaughter overconfident amateurs. So we've covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, haven't we? From that massive fundamental mindset shift of ownership to the really grueling steps of saving your first 100 grand, all the way to the incredible power of stubborn, patient discipline. And it all boils down to one single defining choice. Are you willing to suffer now so you don't have to suffer later? That right there is the ultimate paradox of wealth, according to Munger. The beginning, it's completely unbearable. Pushing that heavy boulder, digging through that wet cement, it's pure hell. The middle gets a little more tolerable, but if you actually have the discipline to survive it without giving in to envy, bad debt, or simple impatience, the end is practically inevitable. So ask yourself, are you willing to embrace just a little bit of misery today to guarantee your absolute freedom tomorrow? It's a hugely provocative thought, and I'll leave you to ponder exactly what your next step is going to be. Thanks for joining me.